Alright DC fans, strap in, because we've got some interplanetary gossip hotter than a Kryptonian sun. The Superman 2025 trailer gave us capes, chaos, and one fierce blonde flying into frame like she owns the sky. That's right, we're talking Supergirl, and baby, she is not just here to play sidekick.
And get this, Millie Alcock's Supergirl is set to make a special appearance. According to an official HBO Max listing, the Woman of Tomorrow will show up either towards the end of the movie, or in a post-credit scene to pick up Krypto from her cousin. How cool is that?
But hold up, who or what is she punching through the clouds? People are convinced the movie's mysterious villain wields the Hammer of Boravia. Yep, that's deep-cut DC Comics territory for you. Basically, this isn't just a weapon, it's a galactic red flag. If true, we might be looking at a villain designed to mirror or challenge Supergirl directly. But I think that the things are gonna be more interesting about this mysterious villain wields the Hammer of Boravia.
But things get even more intriguing with a bold fan theory that the Hammer isn't a villain at all, but actually Supergirl in disguise. According to some Reddit users, it's possible that Lex Luthor has captured and brainwashed Supergirl, forcing her into the armor and controlling her actions.
And this all throws Superman's role into question. Is he center stage, or just reacting to his cousin's chaos? The presence of such a powerful weapon, possibly not even in Clark's hands, reshuffles the whole heroic hierarchy. Suddenly, it's not about truth and justice, it's about family drama with celestial consequences. It means war, maybe even Mongol herself, revving up Warworld tech in a move that would send shockwaves across the galaxy. So today on Holly Molly, we're diving into a juicy 5-segment breakdown that covers all of this chaos. Supergirl's explosive arrival and what it means for Kal-El, the raw power of the Hammer of Boravia, the big mystery of who might be swinging it. Spoiler, it's not Thor. Polish your multiverse maps and join us as we decode the flying fists, mystery weapons, and franchise implications of Supergirl's epic intro. Number 1, Supergirls Arrival and what it means for Superman. Let's get one thing straight. Supergirl didn't just show up for a cameo. From the moment she tears through the trailer like a blonde meteorite of justice, you know this isn't a cousin supporting her cousin situation, this is her moment. And if the fan theories are right, this might be the beginning of a power shift in the DCU. We've seen plenty of Superman over the years, but now it looks like Supergirl is stepping in with major main character energy. Her entrance alone tells us she's not just reacting to Earth's chaos, she might be the chaos, and that has huge implications for Kal-El. In the comics, Kara Zor-El has often been depicted as more volatile, more emotional, and sometimes even more powerful than Clark. With her arrival in the 2025 film, DC might finally be ready to explore that contrast on the big screen, and if she's the one leading the charge against this new villain while Clark is playing catch-up, that means we're about to see a Superman who's not always in control. Also, let's talk in a tone. This isn't a soft, sweet Kara from CW's backlot. This Supergirl has an edge. She looks like she's been through hell and isn't afraid to throw down. The way she carries herself in the limited footage we've seen screams, "I've got a score to settle." And that brings up a ton of questions. What happened to her before she got to Earth? What motivates her? And why does she look like she's already sizing up her cousin like a rival? One thing's for sure, if Supergirl's being positioned as more than a sidekick, then the Superman we're about to get might be more of a collaborator or even a counterpoint. That changes everything about the typical Man of Steel saves the day narrative. And you know what? We're here for it. Number 2, the Hammer of Boravia, DC's most underrated doomstick. Okay, let's get nerdy. The Hammer of Boravia isn't exactly a household name like Batarang or Lasso of Truth, but it should be, because in DC lore this weapon is pure annihilation wrapped in ancient steel. First introduced in obscure storylines, the hammer is tied to cosmic-level events and civilizations. Think of it as a cross between Thor's Mjolnir and Darkseid's Omega Beam. but without the brand recognition. And in this theory, it might be coming to live action to shake things up. Well, the arrival of Supergirl brings with it the opportunity to introduce villains who aren't recycled Batman rogues or alien world destroyers we've seen 17 times before. If DC wants to go fresh and still flex some heavy lore, they need a weapon like this. In the comics, the Hammer of Boravia has been used by galactic warlords and even twisted versions of heroes themselves. It isn't just about strength, it's about will. You don't lift this thing unless your soul's got weight. That makes it the perfect plot device for a villain we haven't met yet, or one with a shocking origin. It could even be a symbol, a mirror to Supergirl's raw power. While she soars with noble fury, someone on the ground or space station might be swinging this ancient doomstick with just as much conviction, but for the opposite cause. If the hammer shows up, it's not a cameo weapon, it's a scene stealer, and it could be the catalyst for the Kryptonian showdown fans didn't know they needed. Number 3. Who could be wielding it? Alright, let's get speculative. The Hammer of Boravia is coming, so who's gonna swing it? If this weapon is as dangerous and mystical as the theory suggests, then its wielder has to be someone who's either a cosmic threat or tied to Kryptonian lore in a way that would make this personal, and makes things very interesting. Let's look at the most out there possibility first. Mongol. She's the daughter of Mongol. Yes, Warworld Mongol. And she's known for her sheer brutality and warmongering. If DC wants to go the Warworld route and tie the hammer to alien tech or ancient warfare, she's a perfect fit. Bonus points if she's on a mission to prove she's more than just daddy's soldier. Then there's the twisted Kryptonian theory. What if the villain is a clone of Supergirl herself, or worse, a failed fusion of Superman and Supergirl created in some secret experiment? Now we've got personal stakes and identity crises flying across the screen. That hammer, it's not just a weapon, it's a symbol of corruption. Another possibility, a rogue Daxamite. Yes, Daxam, the red-headed stepchildren of Krypton. Imagine a survivor with a chip on their shoulder and a vendetta against the House of El. Give them the hammer and boom, we've got villainy, legacy, and interplanetary trauma in one tight package. Whoever ends up holding the hammer, one thing's certain, they're not just a baddie of the week, they're a walking plot twist. Number 4, is this a Kryptonian versus Kryptonian smackdown? Okay, let's talk about the juicy possibility that this film sets up the ultimate family feud. Supergirl versus Superman. They're cousins, they're both Kryptonian. But that's where the similarities end, especially if DC leans into their differences instead of their shared origin. And with the Hammer of Boravia lurking in the mix, things are about to get messy. Let's be real. Clark is the more seasoned hero, sure, but Kara, she's a wild card, hot-headed, emotional, raw power, and if there's a philosophical split between them, say about how to handle the hammer's wielder or even who the real threat is, we might see fists fly. Imagine Kara going rogue, chasing vengeance, or protecting someone Clark thinks is a threat. That's a prime conflict, and maybe she's got a reason, something she saw in space, something she suffered through that Clark just doesn't get. This isn't about evil versus good, it's about ideology, and the hammer could be the spark that ignites this ideological firestorm. It could even be tied to a prophecy, like, only one House of El may stand. Will they fight to the death? Probably not, but a bruising showdown that tests both their morals and their muscles, because nothing says cinematic drama like cousins throwing each other through buildings while arguing about legacy. If this theory turns out to be true, we're not just looking at a cool fight or a big reveal, we're looking at a seismic shift in the DC universe, Supergirl getting top billing in a major conflict, Superman possibly taking a backseat to his cousin's journey. That's a massive realignment of narrative priorities. Number 5, how this changes everything about the DCU going forward. It also signals DC's willingness to go deep into their archives, pulling lesser-known elements like the Hammer of Boravia and giving them cinematic weight. That's Marvel Phase 1 bold, the kind of long game planning that actually builds lore. And if this kicks off a bigger arc, say involving Warworld, Mongol, or even Brainiac, the Hammer might just be the start. Think of it as DC DC's Infinity Gauntlet, minus the 6 shiny stones. This theory, if correct, could also explain DC's new tone. The trailer feels more grounded, more dramatic, but still weird in the best way. Introducing legacy heroes like Supergirl with real stakes gives them the emotional depth audiences want. Plus, imagine where this leads. Spin-offs, animated backstories, comic prequels. DC is finally learning that mythology sells better when it's messy. And this is prime mythology stew. So if Supergirl's intro includes a cosmic weapon, a morally gray battle, and a family fallout that spans galaxies, then DC's new era isn't just beginning, it's crashing in like a heat vision hurricane. Okay, let's catch our breath. We started with a hammer. We ended with the future of the DC universe. Not bad for one trailer theory, huh? From Kara's badass entrance to the mystery of the Hammer of Boravia, from speculation about who could be wielding it to the very real possibility of a super cousin throwdown, it's clear that the next chapter of the DCU isn't just bigger, it's riskier. And honestly, that's exactly what it needs. For years, DC's been trapped between tone shifts and timeline resets, but now it looks like they're embracing their chaotic potential. If Supergirl becomes a central figure in this new mythos, and if the villainy is just as personal as it is powerful, then we're in for something special. So keep your eyes peeled, your theories wild, and your capes freshly ironed. Because whatever comes next, it's not just another comic book movie. It's DC finally deciding to embrace its weirdness, its depth, and its drama. And that's something even Superman can't do alone. Catch you next time on Holly Molly. Same bat time, same bat drama.